looking at it.
I hate this now, so I can let these folks in. Thank you. Happy Halloween, everybody. I think we just lost a
Oh,
few people. They're coming back. Hi, Mari. How are you?
good. Feeling very devilish today. Thought we'd get a little dressed up for our Spirit Chat Halloween live stream. So, welcome everybody. Excited to be here. We'll wait till a couple more people come in and hopefully it's on the Facebook. I didn't check, but
And I'm all witchied out. I got my witch on because I was up
I
in Salem
know.
last weekend amongst the crowds.
Yeah, how was it?
Crowded. Definitely want to go back and enjoy everything that Salem has to offer, but not around Halloween.
Yeah, it's very,
So,
I heard it was very, very crowded. So we try to stay away from there during Halloween.
yeah, so I was up to visit my daughter, and we figured that would be a neat Halloween excursion. She had visited a year ago, and it wasn't so crowded, probably because people were still a little shy about events, and everybody was a little shocked about how crowded it was, even the guides and such. But I plan on going back, so just check it out a little better.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. I've been up there a couple times and it's definitely something you want to check out for sure. It's a lot of very cool things up there.
And everyone was super nice. Like, even though it was wall to wall people, everyone was polite. So that was
That's
really
good.
nice. Yeah. And so, hello, everybody in Facebook land. I'm going to whack my hat. And hello, everybody on YouTube. Um, if you want to sign into the Zoom room, I did put the link on my Facebook page, and it is a little easier for us to do readings um, when we are seeing you guys here, especially if you want to have an animal communication reading with Mari. Um, we would ask that you have a picture of your beloved pet that you could show her for that. Um, and today we're just going to talk about spooky things and do readings, not have a guest today. And also talk about some of our upcoming events. So, Mari, do you want to share that information?
Sure. Well, I thought it would be fun since we're getting ready. I was just doing a little Facebook stuff. Just it's always like so complicated to make sure everything shares where it's supposed to be sharing. But welcome to everybody that's here. And we thought since it was Halloween, we would, share some spooky tales of things that we've encountered before. And I think if there's anything out there that you guys want to share as well, that would be very cool. And like Winter said, we're going to do some readings. So if you have a pet that you would like me to read, I don't need a picture, but it's always helpful. You can pop it in the chat on Facebook. I can check it. Just let me know where you put it. But in terms of spooky things, I can get us started. And, for me and probably for Winter, it's not really that spooky because this is what we do. But for me, this is one of like the coolest stories that I have with clients that I've worked with. So bear with me. It takes a little setting up, but I promise you it's worth it in the end. So doing a reading. This is before COVID when I was going into the office and seeing people. So I had my day all set up. But in my regular life, not as the devil or as Media Mari, just a regular person, I have a window shade in my house that was broken. And it's a giant window, and I searched everywhere to try to get someone to replace this, and I couldn't. So it was literally like at least 6 months that I searched and searched. Finally, the day had arrived where the guy was coming to replace the window shade. And I'm getting back to the reading, don't worry. So he goes into the room and he starts to take it down. And this is like, I'm telling you, this is like, I don't know, 8 feet by 6 feet, like a giant window. So he takes the old shade down to fix it. And on the tippy top of the shade, on the sill that's like an inch wide, and I'm not making this up, there was a pair of red dice. And I saw this, and the guy was like, do you want to leave those there? Like, he didn't know if we were saving them behind the window shade or something. And I was like, I don't know. I figured it had to be a message from spirit, and I know that they're always popping in and out. And so I was like, all right, whatever, we'll just leave them there. And I can tell you that there's not a lot of dice throwing happening in our house, and so it was definitely dropped in from spirit. So I sort of had this in the back of my mind. I went into the office, I did my readings. The last reading of the day, there was this woman and she was connecting with her son, and I was providing evidence and giving her information. And then, he had passed away, and all of a sudden he puts some dice in my hand, and it like sort of jogs me back to what happened earlier that day. And I was like, he's showing me some dice, and he's showing me like cards and casinos. And she's like, yeah, she said, he was actually a big gambler. And it turns out that this soul had actually crossed because he had gotten into some trouble with some mob-like people and owed them a lot of money from gambling. And his favorite game that he would play at the casino was craps with the dice. And so I was telling the mother, all about this. And she was like, yeah, that's exactly right. And I said, well, you're not going to believe this, but when I get home, I'm going to take a picture of something that happened in my house and show you. So I went home, I took a picture of the dice and I showed her, and she was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And I said, yeah, they have a way of getting through to people and letting us know that they're around. And when the guy came back to put the window shade up, when it was fixed, I told him to leave the dice there. So I don't know if they're still there or not. I haven't checked, but that is an honest to goodness true story. So I hope you
Awesome.
enjoyed.
That's so cool.
Isn't it amazing how they just show up in cool ways and try to get our attention? And so when I first saw the dice, I was like, yeah, I know this will be coming back at some point, but I just sort of let it go. And that's what I recommend. If there's something weird or sort of unusual that's happening in your life, just sort of like take it in, or sort of make a mental note of it. Be like, okay, I know like this will be coming back to me later. And it always does. So thanks for listening.
Cool.
I have a story.
Oh, great. You can share a story,
Cool.
Winter.
Denise.
Okay, I just have to say, I had a visitation from a friend the other night through my dream, and I know she arranged for this to happen, that she wanted me to speak with you guys today because she just visited me, and I was not supposed to be here. For some crazy reason, my schedule got all mishigas, and that's why I'm here. But I know she arranged. So in the 80s, I was very good, and early 90s, I had a very good friend, Rosaria. She passed away from Huntington's disease, which is a neuromuscular disorder where the physical body as an ALS just completely becomes immovable, but yet one can retain, full awareness. But anyway, I hadn't seen her when she passed away. The last time we lost touch was right after she gave birth to her first daughter. And this again goes back to the late 80s, but we had been good friends. So what happened was about 2 years ago, I had a visitation from her, and it was a dream. And in the dream, I realized she had passed away, and it was a visitation. I'm like, oh my God, you're dead, but you're here. Yay. I was so happy. And what she told me was the reason why she came into this lifetime was to give birth to her two girls. Like that was the main purpose, along with other things, but to give birth to these two girls. And she passed away when they were still young. Then we were talking about the logistics of how we would be able to come in again next lifetime as friends. So I wrote this all down because I always record my precognitive dreams and my visitations. Then what happened was I hadn't heard from her in 2 years. The other night, I was in my neighborhood and I was walking along this shop. I was in this shopping district, and all of a sudden I look over and I see my friend Rosaria, and she's sitting down, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. I had full awareness. This was a visitation. And there was someone speaking with her. I could not really see the person who was speaking with her. And in retrospect, meaning after I woke up and wrote this down, I believe it was one of her spirit guides because I could sense them, but I couldn't see them. And they were asking her questions like, what is your name? Do you know where you were? And again, in hindsight, I think they were acclimating her to an energy field where we could communicate. Like I think they were helping her, and they were just orienting her vibration, helping her vibrationally, so we could communicate. So anyway, we were talking, but I don't remember us talking. I remember we were just looking deep into one another's eyes, and when you have that soul connection, that soul sense of another, and we were talking, and then at one point I could feel her energy like pulling back, because all I was looking at were the eyes. And I said to her, Ro, because I would call her Ro, I said, Ro, you're starting to fade. And as I do in a lucid body projection, I try to, donate some energy, give some energy just to maintain it a little bit, which it did. But then gradually we disengaged, and I came back into the body and I woke up. Now, I was thinking to myself, I'm never going to get a chance to talk to you guys because I was supposed to work today, but I wanted to share this story with you. And my schedule just went screwy. And here I am. And I know she's done something. She's a little connive at that one. So I just want to share that.
That is awesome. That's such a great story because spirit has to use a lot of energy and they try really hard to try to reach us. So the fact that your friend sort of set everything up and coordinated that, and I'm like, of course you were going to be here today. Of course your schedule is going to get messed up because this is where you needed to be to share that information. But thank you so much, Denise, for sharing that, because it's beautiful how she wanted to connect with you so badly.
Yes. So let me I just want to step in, and I do feel Rosario's presence here. And what I'm getting from her, without going into evidential, is it's all right. We'll give you some evidential. She loves to talk. She loves to take command of the situation. She was very intuitive. I don't think she did this work by profession, but she was spot on for foreknowledge, for knowing events were going to happen. She's quite able on the other side. I do feel that she herself is working as a guide for a group of people developing their mediumship. She's showing me a circle. And she works as one of the spirit communicators, assistants, to help manipulate the energies, harmonize them, to facilitate the communication. So, but she does have a message for you, and she needs you. She says she's got to give you a good square kick in the behind, which she would do. She would call you out if anybody were dragging their feet, and she says, you got it going on, babe, move it, you got it going on. So apparently what you're thinking about doing, you will succeed. You just got to take the leap.
Okay.
It's a leap of faith. She'll be working with you from the other side, and a lot of she'll be sending you clients. Okay, so take it that yes, in fact, she did manipulate things in order to get you here today, because she's been giving you the same message, but you're doubting it. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you, and I'm going to share a story, and then we're going to do a reading or two that ties into Mari's story about the dice and the apports, and also Denise's story, how spirit can manipulate things or orchestrate. I think I like the word orchestrate better. So, plus spooky, right? Halloween spooky. So,
Mm.
one of the more spooky types of mediumship is physical mediumship, which, by the way, if you are interested in learning about physical mediumship, spoon bending, table tipping, transfiguration, I'll be showing some pictures later, and meeting and watching some of the top physical mediums um, on the stage today. They were doing a physical phenomena conference in Lilydale, June 18th, it's a Sunday, through June 23rd, which is a Thursday. And Michael Shane, Gary Mannion, Bill Bolt, they are the top um, mediums that will be demonstrating and lecturing, and then there'll be tutors. Yours truly, I'll be teaching meet and greet your guides and basically learning to go into the altered state, along with transfiguration. And we also will have Julie Andrani, and Sue Barnes is organizing the whole thing, and Sue Karen Richards and Inga Croson from Down Under. They're coming up for that from Australia. So keep mark that, and it is going to be in person. But one of the mediums that'll be there is Michael Shane, and he's pretty well known for his ability to produce apports, which is spirit materializing solid matter through a medium, or sometimes it's just in the seance room. And I attended one of his seances, and I don't know if you can see these tiny little red. Can you see those?
Yeah.
Oh, these little. They're, I'm sure they're not real, but they're a little red. They look like gemstones. And he got about 200 apports that night.
Wow.
Um, so he was giving them out to those of us that attended, and he announces, now these are for somebody who works with somebody who is getting ready to cross. So we're all excited, including me. So I stood up, as well as one other woman, and I'm thinking of my dear friend Helen, who's 91 and has cancer that's not treatable. And so we go walking up, and he was going to split them, and then she announces she's a nurse in ICU, and I'm like, oh, geez, maybe I'm thinking to myself I shouldn't have, come up for these, but he'd already split them, and he was handing them to me, and I took them, and then I felt terrible, and I'm asking Spirit, oh my goodness, maybe they should have all gone to that nurse so she can hand them out to the people who they're supposed to bring strength and healing to those who are getting ready to cross into spirit. So finally, Spirit's like, it's fine. I said, okay, because I was felt awful. I just was so excited, and I thought of Helen right away, and I wanted to give one to Helen. Well, I get home from being up in Lilydale. I go give one to Helen. She was very touched, and she believes in all this mediumship and stuff. And then I get a message from somebody I know telling me that her friend was just told there's nothing further the doctors can do, end stage cancer. And she reached out to me because the woman had a cat that was going to need to be rehomed. So I explained I had these stones from Spirit, and that materialized through this medium, and I sent her one to give to her friend. The next day, I get a text from my landscaper, uh, telling me he'd like to drop a bill off, and he proceeds to announce that his father in Honduras is dying. He just found out, and he feels terrible. He doesn't think he can get down there, but he was going to try. So I left him a crystal with his check for him to pick up and to give to his father, explain what it was. 2 days later, I get a call from a client, a student I hadn't heard from since pre-COVID, that he's working with an uncle who's in the process of passing into spirit, and they're talking about very mystical things, and he's seeing visions and people that has passed before, and the student was just wanted to ask my advice on a few things. So I sent him a stone. So I sat there. I said, wow, I guess I was supposed to get these stones because boom, I get back and it's like one, two, three, and
Mm.
spirit kind of used me to get these beautiful gifts that are going to assist these people in their passing. And it's just kind of cool what spirit can do. So anyway, I wanted to share that, and Michael will be at the physical phenomena week, and he'll be doing apports, and he also does billets. So think about that. Now we should do some readings, and okay. Do you want to start, Mari? There's somebody here. Hello, Mari. I really need a reading on Fluffy and me. Linda Allen.
Oh, okay, yeah, because she was just telling me that she logged onto the YouTube. So forgive me, I'm trying to still figure out all the technology. So I was trying to see if she was if I could see her on the YouTube, but I can't. So she dropped that into the Facebook chat, or?
Yes, I see her messaging on Facebook. And don't worry, ladies on Zoom, we're going to definitely get to you.
Absolutely. Okay. So this is Linda Allen, you said?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I think I know who that is, and she wants a reading on Fluffy. I'm gonna see if she can send me a picture, because I did have a picture sent to me from Terry. She wants a reading on Peanut, and she is in the chat. So just gonna ask Linda if she can send me a picture. I'm not sure where exactly she is, but we will figure that out. So, but I can start with Terry if that's all right. And don't worry, Linda, if you're listening, send me a photo or put it in the post, and I will get to you as well. But I do have Peanut here, and that's Linda Hagen or Hagen. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but Peanut's interesting. When I'm connecting with Peanut, I feel like he has a real vibe. Like because I'm looking at the little picture of him. He's very cute, little tuxedo boy, little chonky boy.
Yeah.
Um, he's a little chonker, but he has kind of like a stay away from me attitude a little bit. And if there's a particular question, Terry, that you have about Peanut, you can just let me know or drop it in the chat. But it's interesting because he's just sort of like, I'm only going to be friends with you if I like you, and I have my certain people that I like. And
Yes.
it's interesting because he's saying dad, dad, dad. So there's some piece about that. So I don't know if that would be your husband.
My husband.
Okay. And is he very close with him? Because he keeps talking about, it's almost like they have like a love-hate relationship. Do you understand that?
They do. I think
Okay.
he's a little closer to me, but he's also closer to my husband.
Okay, but because I'm getting this vibe, he's like, dad, 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 I like, but I'm feeling like I'm seeing like a little bit of barbed wire, which I know sounds really harsh, but it's like they can get prickly around each other, and it's like, and Peanut has a very strong personality. Like he's not one of these kind of chill cats. Like I obviously he's lying on you, and if he feels comfortable with you, but I feel like he has a lot of energy and just a lot of like energy in his personality. And he very much like, I like this, I don't like this. And if I don't like you, it's like you're dead to me. And that's it. So there's some piece about with the husband that it's almost like they're like oil and water. And that's how they have that friction. But it's also, Peanut's telling me that they have this kind of understanding. It's almost like, I can't think of that military word of like when you've like both agree to not fight with each other, but that's sort of what I can't, the word keeps escaping me, but there's some French word or something that I was going to impress everybody with that I can't remember. So that's what he's talking about, like an armistice or something. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but like, okay, I'll agree. I won't harass you too much. And you kind of like, don't get in my space too much. Now, is there like a particular question you had about him? Because I feel like he's very happy with you guys, but that he's telling me that like, he doesn't want you bugging him so much, not just you, but just sort of in general. Like he kind of likes his space, and sometimes he's saying like, I don't want you guys in my space too much. Like I appreciate you want to snuggle with me and whatever, but I really like to have like my own personal space. So is there something particular you wanted to ask me about him?
every once in a while she will look like she sees something, and I'll
Uh-huh.
look and I don't see, or she'll just dead stare at me.
Yeah, well, and everybody here probably knows that, animals, and especially cats and horses as well, are very intuitive, and they also pick up spirits all the time. And it's interesting, as soon as you mention that, Peanut's telling me like grandmother. I feel like that's your grandmother that in spirit that's coming in
Yes.
to visit you. I feel like that she would have been very protective of you and just sort of wanting to
Oh
make
yeah.
sure everything was okay, almost like a mother in some senses. And so Peanut's just like, saying like, hey, like I see you, and I'm just sort of letting you know, Terry, that like, hey, the spirit's here to visit you. Nothing spooky or weird or bad or is going to happen, but they just sort of drop in to make themselves known. And there's some piece about the tea that I keep hearing from the grandmother, that whether she was like, she spilled your tea or you thought you had made the tea, there's some piece about the tea. So I don't know if you're making tea often, but she just
Yes.
sort of brought that up. And I don't know if like she would make tea, but there's some piece connected with the tea. So just sort of hold on
Yeah.
to that in
Mhm.
terms of things that she might manipulate. But Peanut is just saying, hey, I see grandma's here. I just wanted to let you know, because they pick up on that stuff so much sooner than we do. So thank you for sharing, Peanut, with
Thank you.
us. And I hope that was helpful. Yeah, no, my pleasure. I like him. I love his energy. He's got a little spice to him.
Yeah, he does.
He's spicy.
Thank you.
You're
He
welcome.
needs a brother.
He needs a brother, yeah.
Yeah, that's because I have a male foster cat, 7 months old. He's the perfect kitten. So if anybody's interested, if he comes by, I'll lift him up. But okay. So let me. I know you're gonna do Linda, but let me jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yvonne, darling, because we're presuming everyone that's
Hi.
in the Zoom room would like a message. So I'm gonna bring your father through, and I do know your dad, and he likes you doing the work.
Okay.
Your father was very metaphysical when he was here, and the work he's referring to is the spiritual work that you do.
Okay.
But treat it less as work and more as playtime,
Okay.
because you have your other work for financial gain that you need to do,
Right.
and but you can have both.
That's what I'm working on.
All right. And Dad said it's good for you to be in the energy even daily, even if you're not working on someone, to work on yourself.
Right.
It's healing for you. Now, oh my God, he says your mother's driving me nuts. So with that, I want to bring Mom through. Your mom comes in almost like a freight train. She's just a huge force, is how I want to describe her.
Right.
And I feel her very connected to the children and the grandchildren. She knows you're okay. She's been with you, but she knows you're managing, is what the way she's telling me. She does want to apologize. She's mishandled a few things while she was here. But she's going to back you up any decisions that you make.
Okay. I know what she's talking about.
All right? She's going to back you up on that. I'll haunt him, is the exact words I'm hearing from her.
I'm sure she is.
So I'm going to leave that with you. And she's sending her love to you and the entire family.
Thank you, Winter.
My pleasure, darling.
So I have a question about Nala. Did you see Nala, Mari?
No. Did you
I
send
sent
it to the group, or did you
Facebook,
send
on
it
Facebook.
on Facebook? I know I'm trying to keep, I got like the YouTube, I got the Facebook.
I don't know where
I
to
got,
send it, so I sent it on
no,
Facebook.
no, it's okay. Is it on Winter's page or my page?
It's on Winter's page, I think. It's on the
Okay.
group for this, on the
Okay.
live chat. It's
Well, I
on the
found
live
it.
chat. It's on the live
Okay.
chat.
On the live chat. Okay. Well, I got the picture from Linda, so that's good. So we have that there, and I'm looking for the. Yeah, I know it's not
I don't
showing up
see
in here. I
whatever.
don't. No, I don't see it here. I
I
can
do
put.
want to
You
give a
can.
shout out. Gordon Garforth is watching, and I should mention him. He's an amazing transfiguration medium, which I'm going to show some pictures later. And when I need advice, I do go to him. So thanks for Gordon for tuning in. But I don't
And
see a picture of Yvonne. But I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't. I
It
just put a
says
note in the chat. You can text it to me. I just put a note in the chat, but I do.
No, I don't have your number. Can I text it to Winter? Winter, can you send it over?
Yeah, if you just check the chat, I sent you a direct message. My number's in there.
Chat.
Yeah, on the Zoom. Yeah. But a couple things I wanted to add, and don't worry, we will get back to you, Yvonne. Denise, when you were talking about your friend Rosario, I was sort of doing a double link a little bit with Winter, and she kept giving me a lightning bolt. There's some piece about lightning, so I don't know if that was like her personality or there's some piece about a storm with her, but she kept showing me a lightning bolt, and then she was showing me a black cat. And I know we're in Halloween, but I don't know if she has a black cat in spirit or she has some cats that she was connected to. But she kept bringing that through, and she was talking my ear off. She was like, blah, 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 blah. Like she's very energetic and likes to talk and likes to get a lot of things in. But like I know Winter was talking about making decisions and trying to hear messages from her. There's some piece about the weather with her. So I would be checking like the skies and if it's stormy, because that lightning bolt came through a couple of times. And I made some notes. I wanted to make sure that I passed that along to you because she is trying to connect with you. And I do agree with you, Winter, about sort of like pushing her forward and trying to sort of get her on the path a little bit more, which I totally understand. And it is hard sometimes because we get messages. We're like, well, I don't know. Is that really for me? Is that something else I made up? But she is really trying to reach you very much. And if you're seeing her in your dreams, then she's like very much around you. Like her presence is very strong around you. So I wanted to add that. And just when you get a chance, Yvonne, you're welcome to text me that picture of your
I did.
kitty.
I sent it to you.
Did? Okay.
Did you get it?
Nope. I can check again. Maybe it just hasn't come through yet. I'll give it a second because I know Linda was wanting a
Oh, wait, I
picture.
dialed the wrong number. That's
Yeah,
because
It's okay. That's what I was thinking, but that's
I'm going
okay. Try
blind.
it
I'm
again.
sorry. I'm getting
Don't
glasses.
worry. It happens to the best of us. So,
Linda Allen is coming in Zoom. I just
oh, awesome. Yeah. And I have her picture of, I guess she said it was Fluffy. And I do know her. So this is Fluffy. I don't know if you can see it with my ring light there. Very cute. And I know she has a couple of cats. And so it's interesting when I connect to Fluffy, because I know that Linda had lost another cat, Raven, a little while ago. And I do feel like there's a piece of Fluffy that Fluffy is like confused about what happened. That's what she's telling me. She's like, but there's also a part of her that she's like, she feels a little not better, but there's some piece about that way she doesn't have to compete, Linda, for your time as much. So I don't know if Linda made it into the Zoom, if she can hear me or not. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Hi.
So hi, I'm so glad you made it. So I was on my YouTube, but I didn't see any of your comments. So I have your Fluffy, and I don't know if you heard what I was saying, just like saying number one is that she is a little confused about the Raven's crossing and about where Raven is. But then she was also telling me like there's a piece that I don't want to say she's relieved, but there's a piece about her being happier that she's able to get more of your attention because of Raven not
Yeah.
being there. Like, do you understand that? So I don't want to
Yeah.
say she was like, oh, now I don't have to worry about you, but it's sort of like, well, now I don't have to compete with mom. I don't have to compete to get mom's attention
Right.
anymore, because there's some piece about her wanting like to just be with you. And she's saying, because like I'm the princess, like I need, like, it's almost, there's some piece about like her wanting, like she has this royal vibe about her, and like, you know, I want
Yes.
all the attention, you know, and I don't want to have to share it with Raven or any of the other cats. And she's also telling me that she was a little bit miffed when, because you got that, was it Raven, the new one that you got, the, because
Yes.
I know the newest cat, and
Yeah.
that she was a little bit miffed because she doesn't want to have to share the spotlight, because she's like, well, because
Oh boy.
I'm you know, I'm the princess, like what, like why should I, you know? So there's
Right.
that sort of, I don't want to say entitlement, because I think all the kitties deserve all of our love, but she
Yes.
very much has that vibe about her and that energy, and she just wants you all to herself. And she's like, and I want to be respected and treated the way that I should be. So she's just letting you
Okay.
know that. And I'm sure you know that. And I don't know if you had a particular
Yes.
question, but okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know how she was. Like, I know she misses him, even though, yes, I do agree. She seems to want to have me all to herself. I've always gotten that vibe from her, but I love lots of cats. Like, I used to have
Yeah.
5 at one point, right? And
Yep.
she's seen all of them disappear. So I know she's missing him in a way. I just want to make sure she's fine. You know, I know she's had mouth issues. She was sick at the same time he was sick, so that really depressed me a lot, you know, with dad and everything leaving this year. I've been really out of whack.
Yeah, well, you've definitely had a lot of stuff going on. And as I sort of connect to her, there's a piece about like her stomach. Was she having it like stomach issues or eating, like being picky about the food? Because I was sort of feeling like tummy troubles.
Well, she does throw up every now and then, but when Raven left, she stopped eating. All she was eating was treats and drinking lots of water. It took me almost 2 weeks to get her to eat. And yes, she's very picky. I have to get a specific pate for her. It's got to be the fancy feast, you know, a little can. I mean, like, oh my God. And I try everything, and I finally have gotten her to eat, but I know that she has some medical issues, but I just don't know exactly what's going on with her. Because sometimes I do see when I look at her that it looks like she's actually crying. And I'm not sure if that's the pain of losing Raven or because she's feeding off of me that's crying all the time. Because he was only 2.5 years old.
I know.
He was just a baby.
I know.
You know, so I just want to make sure she's okay, you know, and I'm trying to get my dad to come through and talk to me, and because that was a blow as well. So
Of course, of course. Yeah. Well, in terms of Fluffy's piece, I mean, I do feel like with the stomach, with her not eating, I don't know if I wouldn't say it. I'm not like a medical intuitive. I don't diagnose or anything, but I do feel like there's some piece about her stomach that's bothering her. But I feel because she's so sensitive also, that she needs a little bit of time. And of course, she's feeding off your energy. So the more upset you are, she's like, oh, you know, mom is upset. Like, you know, why is mom upset? And she's sort of picking up on all of that. So I feel like the more that you calm down, like as much as you can, that she will be doing better as well. But give her a little bit of time. And they're talking to me about like, and I know she's super picky, but about like sensitive stomach diet, some piece about that, because I do feel like I'm getting like a little burning sensation in my stomach when I connect to her. And I feel like that's, you know, that's part of the stress of not having Raven. And again, she had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with him as well, because she did. You know, because she, you know, she kind of liked him, but then she's like, I want my space, I want my mom, and I want what I want.
Exactly. So. I picked up on that too. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very much her. So just give her some time, give her, and you know, and I'm not sure how many cats or whatever you have at this time, but if you're able to give her some just one now, you're down to one.
Just her. I've just her. She's got undivided attention. Yes. She gets everything she wants. She even has my work chair 24/7. I sit when I work from home on a foldable patio chair. She has the best chair in the house all the time. Anything she wants, she gets.
Yeah, she's the queen. So I know that she appreciates that and spending that time with her. And also they're talking to me about classical music also. So I don't know if you play any like spa music or classical music. I feel that might sort of lower the volume in your house because I could feel like there's a lot of energy going on in your space, just with all your animals and your spirit guides. So try to sort of like lower the temperature a little bit.
I do like to listen to meditations a lot. So I do a lot of just that type of noise in the house. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks though, because like you said, I've been completely all over the place, and I feel the spirit guides are here trying to like calm me down and get me centered. So I'll work on getting the vibe down for her.
Absolutely. And I know Winter, did you have her, do you have her dad?
I have dad, but I also I know that she likes being the princess, but I think the cat's also lonely because there are no other. So, I think she did enjoy having a companion. Whether
from a distance though, from a distance. Yes.
Whether or not I mean, my cats, they have their tiff and then an hour later they're cleaning each other. So
yes.
I'm getting the feeling that she's kind of lonely. And then after you were explaining to Mari and us that you had 5 and then you were down to the 2 and now you're just her, that kind of validated my, she wants more attention from you, but she's also kind of lonely for her companion. So I'm going to leave that for you because you may or may not want to go that direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 2, I do have a father figure who has been waiting patiently to make his presence known. I want to say that this gentleman was about 5'10". Would you understand that about Dad?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, he was a short man.
A solid man. I want to say he was more like a football player build versus a skinny guy.
In
the majority
his younger days, yes. In his younger days, he did have lots of muscles.
Yeah, for the majority of his life, he was solid. I understand that, from the last few years that he deteriorated because of an illness, he lost weight. But his normal, healthy presentation would have been solid and some muscle. And that's what he wants to be viewed as, and that's his choice. He can give me whatever image he wants of himself now, and he's liking that part of being in spirit because he never really considered that aspect. Now he comes through with a lot of gratitude for you. You really took charge and you took care of things. He was just kind of giving up a bit. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
All right. He also comes through with apologies. He was not the easiest man to be around.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Okay? But he needs to tell you how much he loves. His love for you stretches from here to the moon and beyond. He was so blessed to have you in his life, and he never fully understood that until after he crossed. He wants you to know he knows this now, because he was not a man to shower people with compliments and the I love and compliments and things. That was not his style, and that was foolish on his part, according to him, now that he has had a different way of looking at things after his life review. He should have been telling that to people every day, he says, especially you. I think you did the same thing with your mom. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So he is growing and learning on the other side, but the most important thing he wanted to come through today is just to reassure you and let you know how much he loves you, how much he did love you, even though he didn't say it, and how grateful he is for you stepping up and taking care of things, because he just couldn't do it any longer. He got to a spot and he's done. Okay? He does.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
He does.
He does.
That's
good.
The other thing. you've been asking for him to send you signs to validate
Yes.
if he's hearing you. So it doesn't get any better than this. He's got the medium telling you in English. He does hear you.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And I think he's a comedian as well. He likes to do tricks. And I think he's been picking up bags in the apartment and dropping them on the floor. And he's been touching boxes and making them fall. I see spirits as well, and I know that's him that's doing it. He's freaking out the cat. But I am so glad he finally got off his butt and came through, because when he got sick many, many years ago, I dropped everything to help him and my mother. You know, I left a cushiony job to go to a call center job, less money, all this stuff. And my brothers and sisters could never understand that. But, you know, I took him to all his appointments, got him everything that I could find to help him was free from the government. And you know,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
he
at one point I
definitely
had
is
to leave.
acknowledging that you
Yeah.
stepped in and
Good.
took over. So to his
That's
benefit.
good. I'm glad he knows.
No, he does. He understands now. I don't think he showed the gratitude when he was here, but he understands
He didn't have
now.
the mind left. He was diagnosed with vascular dementia, and
Okay.
although he could remember some of the family, he would put them in different order. But you could ask him about a specific hockey player from the 70s, and he'd go, "That's Bobby Orr," or "That's Maurice the Rocket Richard," or "Yeah, that's when Wayne Gretzky did his first goal." It's like, my God, I don't even remember half the stuff. But
I didn't even
could
know
ask.
half that stuff. I remember that.
He
Well, listen,
remembers
sweetheart,
everything.
we have to. I want to be able to get to somebody else's in the Zoom room.
No problem.
So
Thank you so much.
for tuning in today. And let's step in with Eve.
Thank you, both of you.
Oh, of course. So nice to see you again.
Yes, Mari, I've missed you so much.
I know we should do something.
We should.
Sweetheart, would you like a message from Spirit or your dog? Because I see him accompanying you.
Yeah, she and we communicate. I know what she's about. I got her. Like, we have telepathy. We're good. Like, she's
Awesome.
my girl. Yeah.
So in that case, I'm gonna shoot up to your spirit guide, because he just made his presence known, and he's doing this.
Oh, okay.
So have you been thinking about learning something new or diving into an area of metaphysics a little bit stronger?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So this is a good time to do that. I think we had the solar eclipse yesterday.
Yep.
And it's a great time for endings and new beginnings. He's got teachers lined up for you, and is this like, are you going to tarot?
So I do a lot of work with oracle cards.
Okay, so have you ever worked with the actual tarot deck?
No, and I have them, but I'm a little bit like intimidated by tarot. I'm not the oracle decks. I love my oracles. My tarot, I have never.
Here we go. So Eve, meet Denise. Denise, meet Eve. Denise did a wonderful presentation at the Eyes of Learning on the history of tarot. She's very good.
I remember you from the class at the apothecary.
Yes, you were sitting next to me on my left.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is, I feel that your spirit guides want you to set aside the fears. The tarot is just an instrument, but it's going to incorporate so much more than the oracle if you start to learn numerology and the zodiac, the astrology. All of that can tie into the tarot. And then, of course, you can get the tarot decks that you're drawn to, which have stories in them. But it's time, like the oracle cards are wonderful, but they want you to move it up a notch so that you can then blend in, sew in, or however, quilt in these other areas because you have a natural ability to be able to absorb the material and then choose what needs to come out and what needs to be said. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. And in fact, it's funny that you're mentioning like numerology and astrology, because I just picked this book up. It's Cosmic Numerology. So I'm like really invested in that. So I just got to get over my tarophobia.
So what I do is I suggest don't get the Rider Waite cards. Those can be scary looking, but get
that's what I have, the Rider Waite. Like, and
get
like
different cards. Go back to the Amityville Apothecary where they have, I don't know, 200 cards. And find something that they have the angel cards. These are, I love animals. But they're tarot, and they're Radley Valentine. These might be wonderful, and they, they're not the what people might think is a scary. So here's the Queen of Spring, and she's drawn as the Persian cat.
Okay, so that's less intimidating.
I love is fairies. There's a fairy deck by Radley Valentine and Doreen Virtue, and beautiful pictures that will trigger your subconscious and your clairvoyance.
And I work with the fairies too, so I have a good connection. That's one of my spirit guides are my fairy people. So
oh my God, we never showed the the transfiguration pictures.
Oh yeah,
I'll have to do that. The fairy deck from Radley Valentine.
Okay, I'm on it.
They use the 4 seasons, beautiful pictures, so that that will trigger insights. I'm gonna drop you with Mari, and I'm going to try to find, we were going to show some of my transfiguration pictures, which can be kind of scary and spooky, but one of them, you can kind of see the fairy. That's when
the ears.
Or
I remember you showed us that picture in the class, and I was blown away. Yes, I loved it.
Yeah, wow. And as I said, I acknowledged Gordon I don't know if he's still here, but he's an amazing transfiguration medium over in England. Okay, so let me see if I can do this.
And while you're looking for that, I just had a couple messages. Oh, sorry. Now, okay. I'm like, did I do that?
No, I'm doing something.
Okay. I was trying to see. I guess it was Eve that you were chatting with. It was interesting as you were talking to her. I was hearing a lot of things about healing, about being a healer. And I don't know if that's something that you've looked into, but especially with your hands. So whether that would be Reiki or some other type of hands-on healing, they were talking to me about that very much so. And then I kept getting Archangel Michael. So I don't know if that's somebody that you work with. That's one of your guides.
Yeah, he's on my altar. He's one of my angels. Yes.
Yeah, and he just kept coming through and is also pushing you towards, more of this healing work, the metaphysical work. Well, that's such a cool picture, Winter. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you.
So I can't wiggle my ears, and here's my ears normally. But apparently, now of course I'm the medium, so I don't know what happens. When I sit for transfig, apparently I get elongation and my ears get long, and sometimes they bend over and wave to you. So that Mari wanted to do, what do you call it? Spooky things. So I picked out some of my spookier pictures.
Very cool. Yeah.
Come on. Oh, you don't want to, oh, there it is. Again, with the ear being pulled away, and then the face changes. If you notice my normal face, it looks a little different. I don't know how you guys are perceiving the screen. Where are we here? Oh, this was fun. So look at that. Now, we do use, the camera is on a slow shutter, but there's no way that could be my arm because the hand is here and it's holding me. But it's just kind of a fluky picture. Do you see the hand here?
Mhm.
almost like a spirit hand.
Oh, yeah. That's really cool.
So let's close that. And then who else did I pull up? Oh, this is just, it's in the middle, the picture caught in the middle of the formation of a face, but you can tell that my, I'm all like that because my face isn't like that. They were in the middle of forming a face when the camera went off. We do about 100 pictures a sitting, and a sitting is about an hour. Now this one, the ectoplasm, which for me is in vaporous form, was accumulating, and then you can kind of see the a side profile right here of one of my guides, my healing guide. It was developing here. And I've had this is white. I believe the voice box is forming here. And I've had situations where I'll get ectoplasm on my neck, and I couldn't find the pictures in time for today's show, but you will see faces forming in the vaporous ectoplasmic formations here, and you'll see like little faces and stuff. So I used to giggle that I'd put one of these up for my Match.com photo. Screen out the
That's right.
pre-screen them. So, all right. So we were going to show those because those are kind of spooky. But
in a good way, in the best possible way.
Hey, I keep going back into the cabinet week after week. In fact, Yvonne sits with us on occasion, and yeah, you know. And then the ladies, Denise and Eve, they heard the trans speaking. I don't know if you guys saw faces when we did that. It was in the light. We did an outdoor trance class, which was lovely, a couple weeks ago. So anyway, let me just check. And somebody's also recommending Moon Oracle. Well, that's Oracle, Erica, sweetheart. We're trying to move into the tarot, but the Moon Oracle is a favorite deck of somebody watching, whom I know. So if anyone's interested in checking out those cards. Mari, if you just want to let everybody know your upcoming events again.
Sure. And I did get the picture of Nala, so I'm not sure if Nala's mom is still on, but she is. Okay, so I can do Nala after. But yeah, I've got a couple things coming up. I've got November 1st, I'm going to be doing the self-discovery show. I have to look at my notes because I can't remember, at 4:00 Eastern. All this is on my website, Media Mari, so you can check there for links and everything. So November 1st, 4:00 Eastern, self-discovery show. November 13th, I am doing the Ghostly Hour with David Cook on KCOR Radio. That's November 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. And I'll be doing live readings on there as well. He's from the UK, very fun show. And then I'll be taking some time off over the holidays. And in January the 25th, I will be doing the Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickell at 4:00 p.m. And again, this is all on my website. And I'm planning on putting on a couple new classes, the animal communication class and explaining your psychic senses in the new year. So if you're not subscribed on my newsletter, go to MediaMari.com and just put in your information. I don't send out too many, so I'll never be spamming you. And you'll get all the info about all the classes and everything.
And I've put Mari's website address in the chat, and I also put mine underneath it. Something super exciting coming up. Friday, November 4th, I'm doing a program with the Eyes of Learning, which is Long Island's oldest not-for-profit metaphysical learning community. And I've invited Gary Mannion from the UK, who is a working physical medium, and I have observed his demonstrations up in Lilydale and at Neil Raspowski. And the two of us are going to, it'll be a Zoom program. They don't have use of the hall that night. But we're going to talk about what is physical mediumship, because so many people, even working mediums today, are unfamiliar with that form of mediumship. And so we're going to talk about physical mediumship and trance and the altered states. Then for the second half of the show, both Gary and I are going to go into trance and do a Q&A. So anyone who's there, if they want to ask questions of our communicators, Gary has a couple different ones that usually comes through. I have Master Tang from Shambhala, and also the doctor who's who can bite your leg off. But so that's going to be for the Eyes of Learning Friday. It's a Zoom program. I will put a post up on Saturday, the week before. You have to sign up with the eyesoflearning.org, and I think it's $20. Again, it's a not-for-profit community. Now, coming up in June, I've mentioned it at the top of the hour, for the first time in a long time, Lily Dale is going to have a week, 5 days, Sunday, June 18th through Thursday, June 23rd, on physical mediumship. And Sue Barnes is organizing this. She's put a lot of work into it. The top mediums coming would be Gary Mannion, Michael Shane from the U.S., and Bill Bolt, who's an up-and-coming medium and does a lot of phenomena and apports. And there's going to be classes in, as a spoon bending, table tipping. I'm going to be teaching Meet and Greet Your Guide, which is basically the altered states and going into trance and trance speaking. I'm also going to be teaching transfiguration, like the pictures I just showed. We'll be sitting in a cabinet, and there are going to be other tutors, Julie Andrini, Karen Richardson from the Australia, Inga Croson, who's from Australia, and I think there's one lady from Phoenix, and I don't remember her name. Her name is Karen, but I don't remember her last name. So it should be a fabulous week, and the energy is going to be over the top. There will be dark seances, which cost extra. You can attend at Neil Respowski's right outside the grounds. And when I saw Gary work, my group went up, and chairs got moved with the sitters on them. We were told 2 nights earlier a 3-person couch was levitated. There was healing. I mean, the healing was pretty intense. I was chosen to go up, and Gary is learning he's unfolding a new gift called Spirit Art Precipitation. And my dad was there talking through his guide, and they did a precipitated portrait of my father, which apparently for the last 100 years, the only mediums that were doing precipitated art were from the U.S. So this is the first time in about 100 years that someone outside the U.S. is developing the gift. So it's fabulous, and it's not something you can readily see, and it hasn't been that popular in the U.S. Only certain areas have had access to it. So I do encourage you. And the plan is, I haven't nailed it down, but I'm hoping to have Gary to my Northport office leading up to Lilydale when he's in the States. So we still have to work those details out. And so if you can't come to Lilydale, but you want to see a world level physical medium, well, not see, it'll be a dark seance, but you know what I mean. I'm hopefully going to be able to bring that to you in Northport. So I am going to be starting something in my private group. If you are interested, I have a private Facebook development group. It's for practicing. There's 3 practice groups headed by other mediums and or students. And I plan to be doing a mediumship and a trance speaking hour. I'm just trying to put the dates together, and that would be for no cost. And I also need to get I'm teaching now, and I need to get my dates and my course matter for the new year, like Mari said. So lots of exciting things coming up, and yeah, it's just fabulous. And everybody have a spooky Halloween.
I know. I love what you're doing, Winter, with all the physical mediumship. Maybe I'll come up to Northport if you get Gary to come. That would be very cool. So
Or come to
I would.
Lilydale.
I know it's so far though. I don't know. maybe you're a little bit closer. So, but that's fabulous.
I have two guest rooms now. Well, three. Two. So Gary will be in one, and you could use the other.
Okay, sounds good. Keep me posted. But yeah, anybody, if they have any interest in that, that would be a fantastic week up at Lilydale, because physical mediumship is hard to come by. There's not a lot of people that do it. So we're very lucky. We have Winter here that does it, and with her other friends that are coming out, that will be fantastic. So well, I wanted to try to squeeze in a quick reading of Nala, who I have here. You're welcome. Now, did you have a picture? I'm sorry. Did you have a question about her?
Yeah. So we got her really at 6 weeks old, and she's afraid of everything. I mean,
yeah, I can see that.
She's like 95 pounds, and she will just hide under things, and she's just petrified of everything, not just storms and stuff like that, but everything.
Yeah, I can see she has a lot of anxiety,
She's that's crazy.
Yeah, well, crazy, but I mean, it's just, animals are just like people. And so some of us are more anxious than others, and some animals are more anxious than others as well. And so part of what she's telling me, it's like she wants you to sort of understand where she is. There's a piece about, I'm a social worker, so you always say start where the client is. And with Nala, it's like she's like, I just really need, I know you've had her for a while, but she needs to really feel understood is what I'm hearing. As opposed to oh, get over it or whatever. Why are you acting that way? It's I'm really sorry that you're so nervous, and I'm sorry this is so hard for you. So there's as opposed to putting up a wall or being why aren't you different? It's almost feeling like there needs to be a softening and an opening to be I'm so sorry this is hard for you, and I know that you're worried. So she's talking about wanting to be understood and understood where she is and sort of accepted for who she is. And I'm hearing that once you sort of get to that place, she's going to be able to let go a little bit. I mean, she's not going to suddenly turn into super misconfident, but I feel like if you're able to emotionally support her, she's telling me that's really what she needs, is really to be understood. She knows that that she's nervous and anxious, but accepting that's how she is. I understand that's where you are, and then it's hard for you. And it's interesting because as I'm sort of connecting to that, and then I'm not sure where you stand on the reincarnation piece, but I'm getting very strongly from her. It's she came in from a human body, from somebody that had a lot of abuse, and that's where she's coming in with all this anxiety, because she's saying a lot of it's not mine. And I'm sure when she's doing a lot of these things, it doesn't really make sense to you as to why she's so afraid and so freaked out, because it's not coming from you, and it's not coming from when she was tiny. I'm feeling like it's coming from a past life piece, because she has just a lot of trauma in her. And I'm not sure, again, I'm not a vet. I do not pretend to be one in terms of CBD oil or any type of calming sprays, things like that might be helpful to her. And then I'm also just hearing about spraying maybe lavender in the house or some type of calming, because the nose of course is very sensitive on all the animals, but I feel like her nose is extra sensitive, and I'm not sure if you've noticed that with her. Just knowing being really tuned into all the smells in the house and being off put by some. So I feel just scent wise, there needs to kind of be a calming of things in the house. And try that for a little bit, even if you had, and again, I'm seeing lavender, but it doesn't have to be lavender, any type of calming type of herb scents in the air, not like a diffuser with the chemical stuff, but actual dabbing a natural oil on a lava stone or something that would emit the scent naturally. I feel like that would really help her, because she's there's some piece with her that's coming in. It's she doesn't want to feel blamed for being anxious, and she doesn't want to like feel like, and I totally understand, because I have a cat like this. I have a cat that, like, we had her since she was a baby. She was terrified of everything, and all I do is love them and do everything for them.
Right.
But
That's what I feel.
yeah, exactly. So
I
it's
almost
not
feel
like
like a failure because I just hug her through it all the time, and she's always anxious. She's so
of
anxious. It's
course,
like she makes
right,
me anxious. I
right.
do Reiki on her. So we had gotten another dog. One of the doctors at the hospital during COVID took her own life. And so we took on another dog, and
Wow.
she's great, whatever. And they love each other. But this woman kept visiting my house, and
Yeah,
I had to
trauma.
tell her to not come because I would actually see her standing in my dining room, and my dog would just shed a puppy from fear.
Yeah,
And would not go to sleep. Like she would just shake, like sit on top of me, and she's 95 pounds, just sit there and just shake, and her hair would just fall everywhere from fear.
No, absolutely. And
So,
that's because I was picking up like a lot of trauma with her. So there's the past life piece, and her, obviously, when you got that puppy and she's still sort of connected to the spirit of this doctor. And I'm not sure if you did any like cleansing rituals with sage to try to like remove that energy, because that energy being in there is not going to help Nala at all, because she's like so sensitive, just like some people, are super sensitive. So like a drop of water to you might feel like a hurricane to her. So because she's just like so there's a piece of it sort of accepting and understanding where she is and not pushing her. And that's where I was talking about my cat. It's like I knew she was freaking out, similar to Nala type of things, and I just sort of let her be. And I'm like, Kitten, that's her name. Kitten, I know you're having a hard time. I know you're very worried, but we're here for you when you decide you want to let some of this go. And instead of like sort of overwhelming her and being like, oh, I'm going to hug it out of you, or I'm going to make you, it's sort of just like, take a deep breath and maybe let some of it go and be like, I understand, Nala, where you are. I understand what's going on with you. I know the spirit has sort of been freaking you out a little bit, and just sort of adding to, it's almost like she has PTSD a little bit, from this.
It's just so sad sometimes to me.
Exactly. But it feels like to me there needs to be a little bit of a separation between you and her, and saying like, I understand where you're coming from. I know what's going on. I'm here if you need me. And maybe just try to drop the energy level a little bit, because I'm feeling between the spirit and you and her that is like this, and it's like making me very anxious hearing about everything.
It's really her, because I'll be like, oh no, please, I'm going to bed. And then she plops herself outside my bedroom door. You can hear sounds like ba-boom when she falls to the floor to go to sleep, and she won't leave. But if I just had some dental work done, I was, staying on the couch because I had to be raised up, and she slept right on top of me. But I have cathedral ceilings in my living room, and when she walks in from the hallway, as soon as she gets to the end of the hallway to the living room, she goes like this, like she ducks. Like, I'm like, because I feel like
because there's a lot of energy in your house. There's a lot of like high end energy, and she's sort of feeling all of it. And so if there's any way you're able to sort of tone that down a little bit, and for you to not buy into it all the time, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, this is a problem I need to fix. Because I feel like, you're like the fixer and the doer, and you want to always like make everything okay. And so that type of energy is feeding into her in a negative way. So it's almost like she's your mirror, and she's bouncing some of that back to you. Be like, I am freaking out and I am anxious, but you being more anxious about it is making me more anxious. And so it's like this terrible.
Have one more question, and then I'll let you go about it. But I have a huge crate for her. It's like she feels comfortable in there. Just leave it open. She runs in there. I never really lock it in there unless she's really, really anxious. Then I'm like, just go in your crate. And she goes in there and goes to sleep. And sometimes I'll lock it, like if my grandchildren come over or whatever, and she gets crazy. So I want to put this crate away. It's huge in my living room, but I'm afraid to put it away because it's like her safe spot.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, and you need to do what you feel is right for you, but I would not put it away because that's sort of like her cave, you know? And I
That's
don't
what
know if you want to like put a
I
little
know.
blanket on it so it doesn't look
Right.
so ugly or something like that. But
No,
I
I
mean,
said to my husband, well, if I have to keep a crate, I mean, she's 3 now. If I have to keep a crate because that's her safe zone, then I'm going to go have to buy one of those pieces of furniture that are pretty that she could go in.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
Because
because
if
I
that's
feel like
all
she
supposed,
needs that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, all right,
exactly.
thank you.
So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. Keep me posted, but I feel like if you give her enough space, like it's sort of like support and a little bit of space at the same time, and trying to keep your energy calmer and
Right.
just give her that space. I feel like over time she's going to come around because that's what happened to Kitten. Kitten is now she'll sit on you and she'll be with you. She
Right.
all of that anxiety. It's like, you know, by saying I accept you, I understand where you
Right.
are, and I love you, and I'm not expecting you to be anything different. She's like, oh, okay, so I can sort of just be who I am, and that's all right. And that sort of drops the temperature a little bit for her. So
Right.
see how it goes and keep me posted.
Thank you so much.
Mari, I have to
Welcome.
confirm something that you said. It just clicked. When you
Yes.
were telling me that my friend Rosaria, you said you kept seeing like a lightning bolt.
Lightning, yeah.
Well, her nickname for me was Flash.
Oh,
And
perfect.
the reason why is because she said, you know, I didn't walk, I bolted, you know, like fast and very fast on my feet and sudden. So I just want to confirm that, you know, she used to joke around. She said, I'm not going to call you Denise anymore. I'm going to call you Flash. And as I'm saying that, I could hear the frequency on this side just changing. So it's like,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate
So
it. Yeah, I just
thank
kept
you.
seeing it. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
lightning, lightning. Oh, you're welcome. My
That's
pleasure.
it.
It's so much
Amazing.
fun.
And
Yeah.
Winter, I did get the book by Robin Foy, In Pursuit of Physical Mediumship. I just read the first couple of pages and I'm blown away. So I just
Awesome.
wanted to let you know. And thank
Awesome.
you
So
for
I
your
hope you're coming to
readings.
Lilydale.
It's there. It's there. She's gonna, don't yell at me.
I'll never yell at you. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
everything.
Mari, it's been great as usual. Love working with you. I love
Yes, me too. It's awesome. This was so fun. I think we should dress up in costumes every week. So I might come back in another costume next time.
Okay. And I think we should do a bunch of double links too. That would be fun.
Yes, that would be awesome. I would love to do that.
All right. So everyone, have a great Halloween. We will see you before Thanksgiving. We'll let you know the next date, and God bless.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.